Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Winding Road Podcast. Wipe my lips off here. Man, oh man, it is springtime. Spring has sprung, and boy, oh boy, so have the allergies. I am a sniffling, snotting fool. Allergy season is upon us. You guys like my hat, by the way? The German short-haired pointer dog, just like my doggo. Check out his adventures, Ace's adventures, here on the old YouTube. And support local. Support local. I guess that was a locally made hat. Not local to where I am now, but local to where I once was. And I just think that's important, man. I definitely, I'm as guilty as everybody else. Going to the old Wally World, Walmart, and those big corporations. And obviously, they started out local and small before as well. And grew into what they grew into. So I'm not hating on them, I'm not dogging on them, but I genuinely try to support local, support the small people, man. We have to do that. Because that's how people make it. That's how people get big. It's by finding people, by having other people support them when they're nothing, basically, when they're just starting out, when they're small. Anything big started as something small. And it may be very, very hard for us to see the big picture, how we can turn nothing into something and turn that something into something great. It's all part of the process, man. You have to start off with that one little tiny thing, and you just have to focus and put your efforts into that and be consistent with your efforts. Otherwise, it's not going to grow. And I just think it's so important. That's why I do it. And it makes you feel good too, man. It makes you feel so good. I feel good whenever I'm doing that. And you know what? Guess what? The same people, a lot of the times, you support them in their endeavors, they're going to support you too, man. They're going to support you back. That's community. That's how community works. And that's how we have better communities, is by supporting each other's small endeavors. And then one day you can be like, man, I supported them whenever they were just this little old online place. Now look at them. Now they got a big retail store. Now they're doing big business. And then there is something of pride about being able to say, you know what, I supported these guys before they became famous. And then you get something going on, people remember that, man. People remember your support a lot of the times. They're going to remember that and like, hey, man, well, I got this going on. You think you could help me out? And then they're in a place where they can be like, yeah, absolutely. Would love to. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me from the very beginning or whatever time you support them. Thank you for doing that for me. Absolutely, I will support you. And it's just so important, and it's so rewarding and so fulfilling whenever we do those things. And it all goes back to love, man, and the interpersonal love. The love on an intimate basis, man. No, I'm not talking about sexual intimacy, anything like that. I'm just talking about love from the standpoint of, I think about a lot of the times. We're going to transition here a little bit, but I was visiting a lady in the hospital. My mic fell off. Hopefully you've been able to hear me this entire time. Still working through the kinks. We're small too. We're little. Can you hear me better now? Hopefully I don't have to redo this whole thing. Stay put, Mike, stay put! But, you know, I was visiting this lady in the hospital, a lady of great faith, of just a woman of God, a woman that realizes spirit over the flesh. And I'm like thinking about, man, how all the times she's inspired me just by her actions, and every time I see her, it makes me want to be a better person, because I see her faith, I see her deeds, I see her actions. It's like, you know what, she was in the hospital. It's like, yeah, she might not make it. It's like, I have to tell her this. Why have I not told her this before? I have to tell her this, you know, and how much she's inspired me. Don't be afraid to tell people that, man. I don't know why I am that way sometimes. I think we all can be afraid. I don't know what it is in us that stops us just from saying, hey, man, that was really awesome. You know what? Thank you for doing that, man. That's how the positive gets spread. I don't know if it's some kind of fear that comes over us. Like, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. It's weird. Even like, you know, just saying I love you to your friends. Like sometimes I'll be thinking it, but I'm like, I'm not going to say it. That's too cheesy, too corny, too whatever negative thing you want to attach to it. That's bullshit. That's just the bad, the darkness trying to get you to stop spreading the light, whatever that fear is. You know, the fear of gratitude. Why do we fear gratitude? And fear sharing our gratitude to others. I know I'm not the only one. Don't be afraid of that stuff, man. It's just the illusion of whatever it is that's deeper in there that tells us not to do it, or they know that I love them. It's not that big of a deal. They already know I love them. Yeah, probably, maybe, possibly, maybe not. Even if they do, guess what happens whenever you say that potentially? Boom. Positive energy goes to them. Then they might not be afraid to say I love you to somebody else, or to show appreciation to other people. Showing appreciation to others is so very important. And maybe I'm just thinking about this, maybe it's the, you know, if we are truly humble, you know, like whenever people give you, show you appreciation, you know, it's like, I don't want to be like, yeah, I know, I'm a badass mother trucker. You're welcome, you know, like, no, I don't even, you know, like, somebody says thank you to me, it's, you know, you get kind of like, oh, well, no, you know, no problem, man, no problem, don't worry about it, it's no problem, no big deal, no big deal. You know, so I like wonder, you know, we get kind of like, you know, then we don't say anything because it's like we're embarrassed that we help somebody. Like, don't be embarrassed that you help somebody. And I just wonder if we have that in us, then is that why we don't show it to other people? Because we know then that might make them kind of feel awkward or odd. Don't worry about it, man. You're not. You know, the other person's going to take it however they want to take it, you know. Really, it's just a simple, no problem. You're welcome, man. You know what? And like, I just think about, like, I try to think about when I'm doing things to help other people, you know, like that selfishness it can kick in for a second. And it does feel good to be thanked, you know, to know that your time and efforts were appreciated. But at the same time, people are saying thank you to me. I'm also thinking in my head, like, you know what, like, it's just what good people do, you know. You don't have to thank me. Like, that's just, so it's just what we got to do. That's just what we got to do to spread that love. It's just what we got to do. But I don't think we need to be ashamed of telling somebody thank you for whatever. And there may be other reasons too, but that one just kind of popped into my head. Just as I was driving along here, just kind of popped into my head. I'm sure there are other reasons why we don't do it, but it's important to do it, and I encourage you to. Good people, bad people. I mean, I say that, but I don't know if I believe that. It's just all energy transfers, man. Good and bad, whatever. It's all big circle, man. It's all a big giant circle. The bad becomes good. I don't know if the good energy will then ever be back to bad or negative. I'm not sure about that. And how about damn dark energy? That stuff is nuts. We know it's there. They can tell somehow by weighing it, and there's this mass that's there, but they have no idea how, or no idea really what it is. And supposedly maybe there's like this whole, there's these dark elements like in the cosmos. We have our normal periodic table of elements, like they're thinking that this whole other set of elements possibly based on the dark energy, and how does that all play a factor into good and bad, or does it even? I would think so. To me, everything's like a microcosm of something bigger. Hello, the Gary definition. Yeah, that's the definition of it. Yeah, but I don't know. I think it all plays in. It all plays in, man. Yeah, it's just fascinating to me, and it's kind of fascinating to think about how I really think we got this whole thing backwards, man. Like, we're in these bodies now, we're in this physical world, so it's really easy to think that that's all there is, or that this is the big part of it, and this means more than what might potentially happen when we check out of these bodies. Like, oh, cool, we just check out and we just go to heaven. That's it. Live in bliss, and that's that. But we're so focused on now, it's easy to do because we're in the now. So easy to do, but I think we got it all backwards, man. I really do. Like the spiritual world and the energy world and all that is so much more than just these physical forms, and it's so easy for us to be sad and upset when people do die, and it's like the thought of, man, I'm never going to get to see them again. I think you are. I think you're going to get to see the spiritual version of them, and it's like you're going to do that because it's going to be really easy when you go back to that true form, to what we really truly are, and realize that it's all one. Everything is one, and it's all connected. And if we can realize that while we're in these bodies, man, I think we're going to live a lot better lives. And the suffering and the pain, I think it becomes a little bit easier. Yeah, the hard time's still going to suck, but it's knowing that this is so temporary. And with that in mind, it makes it easier. It makes it easier knowing that this is just a blip, and that boom, we're going to return to that spiritual form. We may get sent back into the physical forms. People talk about that possibly, near-death experiences and stuff. Like I said, I watch a whole lot of those, and people are like showing how they've had all these other lives before, and it's quite possible, man. Quite possible. And it's like, all right, well, if we didn't learn something before, like, do we get sent back to learn that in that different form? Like, we're in this form, so we're unaware Oh boy, and we got a downed tree on the winding road. Oh boy, I don't know if they can get around this and not run over anything big here or get anything caught up in the car. I mean, it was covering half of the road, but we were able to get around it. Yes, we were. Just got to slow down, assess the sides, see the path forward, and move in motion safely around the objects, around the noise, around the negative. But yeah, lost my train of thought. But if we can avoid that, avoid the trap of getting caught up in thinking that this is all there is. Yeah, and like going back, that's what I was talking about, like going back. We get sent back because we got to learn something in the physical form, and then it's like, how does that all correlate? You know, and like, yeah, we talk about meaning and purpose. You know, and like if this is so temporary, like, well, like why even mess with it in the first place? It's like, it's like the spiritual world is so mystical to us and so foreign to us because we're trapped in these bodies, but I think the physical form is really the crazy thing about it, all of it. I think whenever we go back to that spiritual form, we're going to realize that, and we're going to realize like, whoa, like that physical form is crazy. Like, you know, we're going to this joy, we go to this bliss, we go to this cosmic spiritual state of oneness, and it's just beyond anything that we can even comprehend in these physical bodies. But then it's like, okay, if we're there, and it's like, man, that physical form was crazy. Being in a body was crazy, you know? Nuts, so crazy. And it might seem so foreign to us, and I just think it's a flip of the script. And we got it all backwards, and being in this physical form is actually more crazier than being in the spiritual form. Crazier from a sense of we're in it now with the realization of something more. So being in it and having these limitations, it is like kind of like I said before, like being in a game. And I'm not talking about Matrix or we're in some kind of simulation. That's possible too. But and just talking about it, yeah, from that aspect of the limitations of it, but then realizing the more, and so pushing our boundaries of what we're capable of in this physical form. And we do that by the recognition of the spirit and that deeper meaning and God within us, the love within us. I think I talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again, you know, just like that. You know, I knew that before. You know, reading biblical texts that say that, you know, talks about, you know, focusing on that. And when we start to focus on that, then it will be easier to obtain and discern God's will and be able to hear God within us and be able to listen to that still inner voice that is God, that is the love, that is the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, that is within us is easier. I don't know. It was just like a light bulb, man. It's like, all right, cool. Like, yeah, I know this, but I've never really truly felt it because I was always so caught up in the physical form. And like I said, it may take people lifetimes to figure that out. You know, they may get to the end of it and like, shit. shit, how come I didn't realize it? You know, it's like, dang it, how did I not realize that? And I do think we'll get multiple cracks at it. Worst to the worst, best to the best. Like, we have different things to learn. It may take more than one lifetime. It may take that. And we get so sad, like I said, whenever people do pass on, but you know what? Like these things where it's like, you know what? People talk about, I don't know, like, I don't want you guys to be sad and this and that, and you know, like, no, we're gonna celebrate the life. Like, celebrate the life that was lost in its physical form, but really it's like, sweet, happy for that person, that they're back home, that they went home. Like, that is something to be celebrated as well. And we should be eager to join them. No, not like eager to want to check out before we accomplish what we're supposed to accomplish and figure out our purpose and what the heck we're doing here. You know, like, you know, I'm not saying we want to die, but I'm saying that, like, yeah, in the Bible where it talks about, you know what, I'd rather be home with the Lord, rather be home, back with the cosmos, back with the energy, back with the God energy, back with that. Like, I'd rather do that, but it talks about, you know, but I have to do this. I have to do this first. And I have these goals, ambitions, these things that I know that I'm here, that I'm supposed to do. I have to do that first. And if we don't do that, you know, yeah, what does that do whenever we do go back to the spiritual form? Like, what kind of effect does that have? Very, very interesting things to think about. Very, very interesting. But just by realizing somehow, you know, I'm able to start seeing these things, oddly enough, it locks me into the now, to the eternal now. And then it's just like, all right, well, yeah, now is happening, but the past already happened, future will happen. It all comes unencumbered, and then it's just like, it's all one. It's all one. Anything we've ever done and anything we ever will do is all one if we are not forcing our own will upon things, if we are letting things play out naturally. And we do that by letting go of the worry, by letting go of the fear, by letting go of taking things personally, and by overreacting to things. I was so bad, and still can be sometimes. Not perfect, obviously. So bad about overreacting to things, and you know, and like, something small happens and I put way, way much more weight in thought into it than there needs to be. And rather than just letting it go, letting it be, I feed into it. Once we feed into that with anger, with whatever other negative emotions we have, then the negative grows. It's all such simple stuff, but so profound. And however, praise God, like, starting to figure that out. And I still have so much more to go, but it's like, it is kind of like it's already happened, because I know that I'm on the right road, so to speak, on the winding road. I've got gas, we got air in the tires, we got a good car, we've got a good vehicle, we've put ourselves in that position. We haven't done anything though, really. It's just all by grace. It's all by grace. And we didn't even have to exist at all. Nothing had to ever exist at all, but it did, because that's the way it is. There's no other way. You know, I like to play devil's advocate and flip the script, and you know, I take one stance, but at the very same time, I'm like, well, but what about the exact opposite other side of this? And it's still fun to do, but I don't know. I just like, I still like to do that because it's good, like I said, to put other people in, you know, to put yourself in other people's shoes and all that stuff, yada, yada, yeah. But I don't know. I'm not feeling the need to do that. I still like to explore, but I know the path that I'm on is the path that I need to be on. So if I know that I'm on the path that I need to be on, then the road over there is like, well, okay, that's cool. There's a road over there. I can see kind of what's down that road. I'm like, all right, well, no, I don't want to go down there. I'm able to see. I can see a little bit. And I'm good. I'm not going to worry about that road because I know I'm on the road I'm supposed to be on. And I know if I attach negativity to this situation or attach worry to this situation, that I might accidentally turn onto that road. So I just like, just let it go, man. Like, how did I get like that? I wish I could articulate better other than what I've already said. And it's the input. It's what we're putting in. It's the input of things. What you put in will come out. It's the input. That is the key. It's like I don't know. Like I try to think about how I was and chasing all these fleshly pleasures, and it's just like, even if I get a hint of that now, and I'm like, all right. Well, I'm like, man, I'm good. There's no draw to it. Sure, there's always going to be like temptations and trials and things like that, but it's just like, whenever you start figuring out the spirit, like all those other things just become pointless to you. And there's no chase, there's no chasing, there's no wanting, there's no yearning for those things anymore. And I'm so thankful of that. So thankful in the middle of that I had the awareness to keep trucking along, and the faith to know that one day I would come out of that and then be able to share these thoughts. And I have no fear. There's nothing to fear, man. It's all an illusion. So fake. It's all an illusion. And I think that's where mostly everything is rooted in. So if you're able to get past that some way, somehow, years, lifetimes, trying to obtain that, and it's always still a work in progress, you know. Energy in any form. I don't really think any of it dies. It's all connected. It's all one. So it just takes a different form. It takes a different form. Man, we've been on here a while on the winding road today. Hopefully we've been able to obtain something out of my rambling. Ah, Lord, I was born a rambling man, just trying to do everything I can. I know that's not how it goes. I know that. I am aware. Was going to do a little bit of freestyling on it. Little, what's that called? Ad-libbing? I'm not really sure. Writing update. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun. So, I'm getting my novella Copy. Nope. We've already done the copy edit. I am getting my novella proof read. And that's exciting. And I also produced my, I say writing update, it's a project update. We'll call it Project Progress. Da-da-da, da-da-da. And now I'm going to tell you about my PP. Oh boy, Project Progress. So yeah, that's where I'm at with my novella. Still got to get the cover edited, and well, something else I'm really excited about, and it just was one of those things that just kind of happened. I was able to produce my first wrestling show. I'm a big pro wrestling fan, always have been my entire life. Athleticism, live theater, comedy, storytelling, those are my favorite things, and wrestling has all of that. It has all that, and I was able to produce my first show, and it happened so naturally. I didn't even know I was doing it really until it had already happened. You know, the guy reached out to me and he's like, saying something about the audio was messed up, and was wondering, if I could fix it. And I was like, and then he played it for me. I'm thinking, oh man, I had that thought of, oh boy, I don't know. I don't know if this can be fixed. I had that thought of, I'm not like that maybe started to creep in, but I also had the thought of, okay, yeah, that's a big problem, but I'm gonna figure it out. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, you realize that at the time something's going on, and it's like, it really doesn't seem like it's fixable. There's no hope. But I never allowed that feeling of no hope to really truly grasp on, because it was just always like, okay, well, this is a problem. It goes back to that robotic mode. Okay, we have a problem. How do we fix this problem? And through hard effort and grit, and using the old noggin, I was able to figure it out. I had to run it through 2 different audio programs, but I was able to figure it out, man. Because I never let the doubt creep in and settle in and grow. Never, ever let it seep in. I knew I could do it. I knew my capabilities. Yeah, it took practice. I went to school for this stuff. And so I know I had a good base. And I'm talking parallels with you in life here. I hope you can see that. This is just an example, but I had the skill set. You got to build our skill sets first in order to not, if you build the skill set, then the doubt has even less of a chance of creeping in, because we know we're capable. And if we know we're capable, then we know we always have hope. But what if we're not capable? Well, again, build the skill set. Build the skill set. And it was just a perfect example of something just coming together so naturally. And I knew, this is a kind of transition here, but I knew that I had something to offer the person that started this company. I knew, based on my skill set, that I could help them. And this, we're going to wrap this thing around full circle here. I knew I was capable of doing that, and they're just starting out, again, very small. Some person just starting out very small, and I'm like, man, I want to help. This is something I'm passionate about. I want to help. I want to see this grow. So I'm like, okay, well, I know this, but how do we get the attention of somebody that may not know that we are capable of helping? And how do they know that we're not helping because of selfish ambitions? They don't know that. They don't. So we show that by being patient and waiting for an opportunity and being willing to do anything or whatever that other person wants you to do, that they want you to help them out with, that you know you want to help out with, that they may not even realize that they need your help yet. And it's not that they needed it, that they needed you. It's just that you saw a gap that could be filled. You saw something that was potentially special, and this thing is special, and you saw that, and you're like, okay, I know I can help, but how do I get them to know that I'm capable? How do I do that? You know, first you got to get their attention. Sometimes that takes patience, because sometimes these things are, you know, those other people can be getting drawn in a lot of different directions. And if you're just some guy off the street coming in saying, hey man, like I can do this, like you can't overwhelm them. And you can't overwhelm them and you can't tell them, don't tell them all the stuff you're gonna do. All I simply did at first was, you know, I said, you know what, I said, hey man, I went to school for this. You know, if you need some help with this, I'll be more than happy to help you with this. I think it's really awesome you're doing this. I just want to help see it grow. And just having that humbleness and genuineness of wanting to help. And then whenever you get the opportunity, if you're allowed an opportunity, you have to show them. You can't tell them what you're capable of. You have to show people what you're capable of doing. And that goes back collaborating and helping others. You know, if we truly have that mindset, are able to get away, and it's so hard sometimes from the selfishness, we can do it. We can get away from that. We can get away from that just with the attitude of, you know what, it truly is. If you put others first, and you have that genuineness of wanting to help others, ultimately you will help yourself, and it all spreads, and we're all, well, I'm me, you're you, but we are each other. Love, inspire, unite. God bless.